The first defining moment that I realized that this wasn't, just a 2-week service trip, this was gonna be a transformative experience for me, was on our second day of work. It started to rain, and it started to rain pretty hard. And I watched the family whose roof we were working on go from sitting outside on their front porch and just hanging out, everyone went inside and we didn't hear a sound, we didn't hear anything from them for the rest of the day. The absolute fear that, this could be the rainstorm that takes down their house, and that absolute lack of control and that ongoing trauma that they have continued to experience since Hurricane Maria really made me realize how impactful the work that we're doing is, because we weren't just building roofs, we're giving these people back a sense of safety and a sense of security, that they have a little more control over their lives.
Really love. 1, 2, 3.
Let's get it!
So we've heard from a lot of students and a lot of chaperones that this experience was transformative in some way. So are you the same person you were before you left?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think any of us are.
So talk about how did this experience change you or change the way you think about things?
I'm a different person, but I think more because of the people that I met there, the homeowners. Most of them were poor and didn't have much, and whatever they had, they shared.
I know that it's changed me. I know that it's changed the way that I view everything in my life. I know that it's, again, here we go. I know it's something that is very emotional. And I still can't figure out why.
I think for myself, the biggest change now is I'm fidgety in the morning because there's something else that I need to do. 2 weeks of building roofs, I'm now waking up in my comfortable bed in Brooklyn like, where's my boots? Where's my work clothes? Where's my personal protective equipment? I need to put that on and go climb something and do something for somebody else.
For me, I think I grew in the way that I found importance in things that I didn't necessarily consider it as important as before, such as not only volunteering, but simply connecting with people.
I would definitely say even I didn't come back the same person. For me, it was really spiritually awakening, kind of connecting with my culture, because I had never been to Puerto Rico and I'm Puerto Rican.
It was my first week at this site. They had just finished installing the hurricane clips, and we were putting on the sheet metal called Gavaloom. And we finished on Friday, and I looked over and I just see the girl playing in the living room. And this was the first time she was able to play in her living room since the hurricane happened. And that right there brought joy to me, because now someone had a roof over their head, a family had a roof over their head.
Hold on, tight, yeah.
What was the hardest thing you did on the island?
As I'm going to the trip, my biggest fear was the heights.
Oh, the heights?
Yeah, it was the heights. Actually, that's the reason why I enjoy being in Puerto Rico, because I got through my fear,
What they told us was the first rule was to don't die. But then so then I added the second rule, don't break a bone. Because once you break a bone, you can't work.
We want to hear about the physicality of the work that you did in Puerto Rico. So when you were on the roofs, what did you do with your 2 hands to contribute?
So I worked in a community called Guaynabo, and I worked in a team of maybe 14 people. And we worked with about 2 tools for maybe 4 hours straight, just digging into the roof to get all the layers of tar and cement and the paint off so that we could replace it.
When you work in the day, the sun would make the tar more sticky and stick to the roof. So we spend 2 days just removing the tar. That was the hardest part.
The first house we work on, I think I did painting, and then once we finished, we went to a different house where I was in charge of making concrete.
My team, we were pretty much tasked with pretty much putting up plywood ceilings. So we were sawing every day and then drilling in pieces of plywood, holding it above our heads, and just kind of, the house that we were working on was kind of built strange, like on a slant. So we had to piece everything together, kind of like a little puzzle.
Really feel like, wow, we feel very proud saying, oh, we made that, like, we changed that.
What were some of the effects on your bodies? I mean, sore, bruised, what it was like? Were you exhausted? Like, just how did you feel?
The effects I had, my hands were really, really sore. It was almost as if I had never even used certain muscles before.
The first day my hands had blisters on them. I was like, wait, where did all these come from?
One of my friends said that her phone couldn't recognize her thumbprint anymore.
Oh yeah,
So
I would
crazy.
press them.
Yeah.
Tell me about a homeowner you met. How did you make an impact on his or her life, and how did he or she make an impact on yours?
One of the homeowners I met, her name was Carmen. She lived by herself, so having us was amazing, just to sit with us and chat with us, drink coffee with us. She felt like her house was filled with love. The last day working in her house was the most sad thing that has ever happened to me. She hugged me and she cried for about 15 minutes, telling me that she was just so thankful for everything that we were doing for her.
We were at Doña Noemi's house, and she had been temporarily displaced by the hurricane. She received us so warmly every day, and it just gave us that fuel to finish, not just quickly, but finish well and do it right. And just to top it off with her telling us that we were all her family now, and that we were always invited, and those were open doors, con manos abiertas, was intense.
It's just even though they didn't have a lot, they showed us that they had a lot of emotions for us. So even though they couldn't give us a lot, they gave us so much more. They gave us empathy, they gave us care, they gave us hope, and we kind of brought that with us. And I think that's what made our cohort bond so well, because of what we received from our homeowners.
I feel like we went out there to help, and I just feel like the people of the island helped us in so many ways and just grow as individuals. And it was just, we fed off each other.
It was almost like there was a special feeling in the air, you could feel the warmth coming from the people.
These are people that I see being in my life. I see myself going back to Puerto Rico and going to Barranquitas to see them.
I think in terms of the things that we did with our hands, we didn't just literally build and chip and put concrete and sealant. We hugged people, we ate food with them, we broke bread. We weren't just there to do that, the physical labor, we were there to do labors of love.
1, 2, 3.
You guys were in Puerto Rico with volunteers from all over the world, but we've heard from our partners and the families that you've served that CUNY students in particular brought something very special and unique to this experience. Can you talk to me about what you think you as a CUNY student brought to this?
There was so much compassion in our students, and the volunteers recognize that, and they actually miss us. I ran into a volunteer this week. He was with Heart 9/11, and he goes, "Man, I miss those guys. They could work. They have great work ethic. Without them, we wouldn't have been able to finish so many homes."
There is a kind of an energy, a high that the students are getting from, let me see if I can do it better. Let me see if I can get my team to work more efficiently. Most people will go there and be happy and say, well, if I can help one person, then I've done my job. I don't think that's the way CUNY people think.
CUNY students have that willpower. We really, really care.
You can see that we're definitely competent enough. We're definitely driven enough, because the first day we got there around 5 a.m. And then we had to go to work we were like, oh, do you guys want to work? Oh, we're gonna go. We went to work at 6. We got up at 6. So yeah, from our actions and from our results, we have delivered.
CUNY students are ready.
We're ready. We're ready.
They're ready.
When it went to going to Puerto Rico, it's like I understood because I saw people that looked like me. I saw people that speak the language my parents speak. So it wasn't like I was helping someone who was just disadvantaged. I was helping like my family. That's another extension of me. And I feel like a lot of other CUNY students who were there felt that same way.
I actually just transferred into the CUNY system, and never in my life have I met such hungry people who do whatever they have to do to make sure they have an equal opportunity to succeed. And I think that's the value of sending other people who appreciate having that opportunity. We are so eager to give it to somebody else.
Our students can contribute, make a difference anywhere in the world. They already do. They come from everywhere in the world. So why not go back? Why not show? Why not spread our wings? Why not shine? I know that there are people who will now have a roof for the next 10, 15, 20 years. So there is a legacy that you all are part of. Think about this summer, because the impact is going to go on for decades.